your algorithm?
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I built this trading view. I wanted to learn how to write like trading view algorithms and indicators. And so I learned their scripting language called PineScript, and I created a indicator for that helps you dollar cost average into any asset that you like. It's called Dipcatcher, and it's some statistical analysis and also some basic support resistance analysis, and it just kind of synthesizes it all into helping determine what are good levels to buy, and then it actually gives you specific like limit order buy targets. So it's just a tool that you can plug into your trading view charts. It just helps you kind of understand where it is in the market cycle, and then helps kind of take some of the guesswork um, out of like a dollar cost averaging strategy. And so that's what the product is just a trading view plugin. And the way that we're rolling it out is through the launch of these things called access passes. And so you can mint your own access pass um, on pro.dipcatcher.com starting tomorrow. Right now it's on testnet, so you can go and do it on PulseChain testnet right now. But when you mint your access pass, it gives you two things. One, it grants you, like whoever the minting address is, it grants that person access to the algorithm, but it also mints them a buddy pass. And so the buddy pass is just a normal ERC20 token. Um, and um, and the way that you turn the buddy pass into access to the algorithm is you burn it. So you mint your access pass, you get access to the algorithm. Now you have your DCA token. The token is called DCA. You have your DCA token, the buddy pass, and you can either give it to a friend or you can sell it on the market, because it's, there'll probably be a liquidity pool for it. And that's just how we're going to govern who gets access to this algorithm. And so we wanted it to be pretty scarce, where, because if every person on earth had it, then it would just kind of lose its edge, because if everyone's like, just the dips would get pretty crowded. Like if a ton of people are using it, it'll get kind of crowded. And so we wanted to cap access to it. So the way that we did that was by making the minting rate for your access pass ratchet up every 200 minters. So 200 people can mint at the 0.025 rate, and then it ratchets up by 0.005 ETH, and then 200 people come in at that rate. So it'll just keep ratcheting up until it's kind of, maybe at some point it's unreasonable to keep minting. And then if there's no minting for 30 days, no more will be minted ever. And so each minting event basically generates like 2 passes to the algorithm. So, one for you and then one for the buddy pass. So, probably only a couple hundred or a couple thousand people will ever have access to it. So that's just how we decided to roll it out. The DCA token, like how you have to burn it in order to redeem access to the algorithm, it was heavily inspired by probably the only thing that I've ever invested in that outperformed Hex, which was a token called SOX. And that was,
I know that one.
You do know, or you don't know?
I don't know. Yeah, I did a lot of shitcoinery before this ecosystem, but I don't think I know that one.
Yeah. So this was Unisox was Uniswap's first example of how the liquidity pools would work.
The Uniswap socks. That's the one.
500 of these unicorn themed socks, and the way you would get them is you had to buy the token and then burn it. And so it started out with 500 there, so 500 socks, 500 socks tokens. Now there's about 200 people have named them. So now the total supply of the socks token is 300, and the price of the Unisocks went from something like $100 to like $150,000 in like under a year, and then kind of settled out. Wow. Now it's like 30K. It's just shocking, but it's just because, very low float. It's a lot of there are a couple big catalysts to the price. Like it didn't just go that high out of nowhere. Like it was Unisocks holders got the Uni airdrop in a big. So when you burn your Unisocks token, you get an NFT. And so during NFT craze, the price of those NFTs started going up. And so people were buying the token to burn it. So it was kind of just like some craziness that caused it to have that catastrophic price move. But when, I always thought that was such an awesome way to grant access to a limited edition product, no matter what it is. In their case, it's that the unicorn socks. In our case, it's, access to a, trading view script. So that was the inspiration for how to do that issuance. And yeah, so that's it's literally going to be launching tomorrow.
Wow. And so just to clarify too, the Buddy Pass is the ERC20 token, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. And then on the indicator part, so this is something that you came up with, and then it's like how, I guess if you were thinking about participating in this, what would you be able to get this plugin for TradingView that gives you this indicator that you could use to see when to make, like, it's an indicator for trading, so when to make good trades or not make trades.
It's not like so a lot of trading indicators, they have a buy and a sell. This one's only buy. Like the main purpose of this is like to guide a dollar cost averaging strategy. And so it just plugs into your TradingView charts, and then it just lays out on the chart like these different levels and then specific buy order targets. And so it's really like a tool for dollar cost averaging and just a tool for like general like price analysis. Like it's pretty, it packs a lot of information in like the display and the chart. And so it's like I like every single chart that I tweet, for instance, like you'll see the dip cut, because I have the script on my charts, and so you always see it in all my charts. It's shows that it's there, and because like it's pretty core to how I analyze price charts. Like I like seeing how the dip catcher algorithm responds to it, and because it shows these bands that show like relative price ranges, and so it's and it shows some like interesting aspects about like kind of the shape of the momentum. And so there's kind of a whole lot that you can, the more you kind of get into it, the more information you can glean from it.
That's what I was going to ask, is the track record. So you've been using it for a while then, and I'm just trying to think of like, people who are coming in this, maybe they already have some indicators that they use. How would you pitch this one to them versus the ones that are publicly available?
Yeah, I mean, so it's no indicator is like perfect. I think what this is good about is that like it's not trying to like buy and sell. Like eliminating the sell side, like is pretty, like it makes it pretty powerful, because it's like being for dollar cost averaging. It's like a good, it's just like a very powerful tool. I mean, other things can work, similarly, but I think this takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, and I think the secret sauce in this one in particular is the way that it actually a dip is, and the way that it identifies levels to place limit orders. Like that's like the, because everything else is just math, and you can assume that anyone can do any math, on the charts, but like there is some, I'd say, some discretion at dip is. And I think that's probably the best part about it. And it was actually originally like, because I made it early in 2020. So like I was into Hex, but like not kind of how, Hex hadn't, consumed me yet in the way that it kind of has now. And so it was actually originally made for Bitcoin, because on my, I had these like, these email alerts set up where it would tell you when it's a good price on Bitcoin. Then later on, I added Hex to it. So I had these like email alerts that were powered by an early version of the one that's coming to release tomorrow. So
on your website, right? I remember you can sign up for price alerts on your website, I believe.
Yeah, I got rid of that, and we're switching out that dipcatcher.com site with another one. So that site is no longer live right now, so you can't sign up for those alerts anymore. But yeah, I mean, it was originally for Bitcoin, and when you look at the backtrack like price performance, it outperformed a like a general, like on the Bitcoin chart, the last I looked at the numbers like when I took the site down a couple hours ago, compared to like, had you just like dollar cost averaged by buying on every day during the last, so 3 years ago now, almost, since when it was on, if you had bought only on the buy signals, if you dollar cost averaged on the buy signals and not just every day, you overperformed by like something like 77%. And so the strategy overperformed just like a basic default to dollar cost average strategy by a pretty significant margin. And that was on the Bitcoin chart. That was the only one that I had like that back testing set up for. But kind of, generally across all markets, it's pretty powerful. And even across different time frames, where when you're looking at it on the weekly chart, that'll capture like, major macro dips, like maybe only once every 2 years. Like right now, or, not since this pump off the bottom, it's kind of been tapering off the dip signal, but it was triggering signal from like the first time it hit 3 cents, kind of all the way down to the bottom. Before then, it hadn't triggered buy until or since like May of 2020. And so like because the hex price just went straight up. And so during times of up only, the weekly chart's never triggering dip at all. Like you can go months or years on end without triggering. But on the shorter time frames, like on the 4-hour chart, like all these, intra week dips, it's usually kind of sniping those. So kind of so now that people have access to it, they can kind of craft it to their own strategy and how they're thinking about it. Where like there's the long-term the dollar cost averaging strategy that's good for, but also like scaling into the smaller time frames. You can get the shorter, like intraday or intra-week dips that it's pretty good at identifying. So
is that the way to do it? Like, everyone talks about, especially in our community, don't trade, trading's bad for you, get you wrecked. But is DCA, using algorithm like this, just the whole ethos of doing DCA, dollar cost averaging, is that, if you're going to trade, is that the way to do it?
Yeah, probably. So like, and specifically how there's not like a corresponding buy signal. That's not to say that like I won't roll out future indicator, because like there's dip catcher and then there's pump number, like I'm not to say that there won't be a sell side indicator at some point, but
okay.
Like this one in particular, it is only for buying and it's framed around dollar cost averaging. So this just helps you kind of like find the best days to dollar cost average, or the best weeks out of the year to be dollar cost averaging. And so, if you were to be trading, like meaning you're buying and selling actively, perhaps it could be a good way to choose when to buy, but then when to sell, it's all based on your own individual strategy. So that's a little bit tougher to say definitively.
Yeah. But so what about tomorrow? When it goes live, what is the exact process for people who want to participate? What do they need to do?
So you'll go to pro.dipcatcher.com and then you'll just click the mint button. And so by minting, so it's the initial minting rate is 0.025 ETH. So it's about $40, and that'll give you two, so your own access pass and then the buddy pass. So once you mint your access pass, you go to there's a page on the site called request access, and you sign a message from the wallet that you minted on that contains the email address that you want the script to be added to, because you have to like add it by the email address on TradingView. So your email that's linked to your TradingView account, I recommend people set up a pseudonymous email and link it to your TradingView account. You don't want to dox yourself to me. So but it, at the end of the day, it's just an email. It's not the worst if you don't have a email just for this purpose, but yeah, you'll just, like sign a message with your wallet. The system will check if you either minted or burnt a buddy pass to get access, and then it'll add you to the TradingView private script.
And then you suspect there'll be a liquidity pool for people who, so maybe that's a question to the buddy passes. So you can buy, or the passes, so you have the tokens, and then you can buy a bunch of them. And every time you want to sign up, is it you would use you would burn them?
Yeah.
Third one.
So if you mint the access pass, which has your own access part, and then the buddy pass, you don't need to burn a buddy pass. So if you do the minting, you don't need to burn a buddy pass. The buddy pass is yours to do whatever with.
Okay.
But if you were to buy the buddy pass, like say on Uniswap, you have to burn the buddy pass and then you get access to the script. And so and I think what you're asking is like, say you're hoarding a bunch of these buddy passes. Yeah, you can mint as many as you want. And then you can do whatever you want with them.
Is there going to be a diamond hands that we can stake the buddy passes?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably not in the initial the contract is so dead simple, and I like this idea was much like larger in scope, but then I just boil it down to like what's like the minimum necessary thing in order to get people access to this, make it limited edition, where not everyone can have it, and then some type of like crazy pumpamental, speculative element, and that's like the buddy pass. Because like if all of them get burnt and there's continued demand to get access, and it has to be bought and burnt in order to get access to the algorithm, could be kind of like a Unisocks type of situation. So that was so all the things with like, they'll like, and also like the whole buddy pass thing was actually like a way to simplify the original idea, which was to have some type of like revenue sharing program if you minted during the first week. So the original idea was like, if you bought in the first week, you get lifetime revenue share. But because it's a smaller ticket item, a revenue share, especially on chain, it kind of breaks down with the fees. It's like, okay, cool, you earned $1, it'll cost you $3 to claim type of deal. So this was a simple way to kind of include that revenue share component, because like if say 500 of these get minted, that'd be crazy if 500 got minted. I don't think that many will, but it'd be wild. Say 500 get minted, then that means that in total 1,000 people will have access, because the 500 minters, and then each of those minters buddy pass. So that buddy pass was like kind of like we're already thinking of like a 50% revenue sharing system. So instead of doing it like on a per unit ongoing basis, it's like kind of front loading that revenue sharing by giving each person their own DCA token, and they can monetize it or do whatever with it that they want. So that was kind of a common theme in development of this, was just like simplifying everything, even cool ideas. Like if it was going to take more than 30 minutes, like the contract itself, it only took like about 2 hours to build, and also it's basically a modified version of the water contract from the Poly launch. So it's kind of starting from somewhere, but I mean, the contract itself has like 50 lines of code. So it's like, it's very simple. The only functions are the mint function, which is actually just a normal Ethereum transaction to the contract, and then also the redeem the buddy pass function. So there's only 2 user-facing functions in use, and it's just very, very simple. So all the cool ideas we had with it were kind of scrapped, and then this was like the version that was able to be built quickly without much effort and without like a whole ordeal around it. Like it's pretty simple minting, simple access granting. So that was kind of the goal.
And you only need one to get access, and you get it for like whoever holds the DCA token can get access to the script. Is that how it works? Or is there like a one-time sign up?
Yeah. So just holding the DCA token doesn't give you access. If you mint, so the way it works is when you mint in the contract, when I say access pass, really what it is the contract stores, it has a field called is member, and it's a function of the address, and it's either true or false. So if you mint, you're saved is member is true, so your address is marked as a member, and then also that mints your own buddy pass DCA token. So if say you sell it on Uniswap, someone buys it from you, just by holding it doesn't make them a member. they have to burn it through the function redeem buddy pass. And when they run that redeem buddy pass function, one full DCA token must be burnt, and then they are added as a member. So like there is member of that address is marked as true. So then when you go and request access, where you go and type in what email is on the TradingView account that you want the signal to be added to, you sign a message from an address, and then it looks to see if the address that has a valid signature is a member in the contract. So the contract stores like the source of truth of who gets access to it. And then you prove that you can get access to it by signing a message and submitting it to the dashboard. So that part isn't on chain. There's no gas fee. It's just like a normal, like remember with the Bitcoin free claim where you had to sign a message containing an address. It's literally same thing, but in our case, you don't have to broadcast it to the chain. It's just, because it's like the TradingView system, that's not trustless. And so nothing involved with granting access necessarily needs to be trustless, because like at the end of the day, like, you have to type in who to add to the TradingView system. And so it's because that part doesn't necessarily need to be trustless, that way, the contract designates who, gets it. And then, from there, that's why it can kind of work in that like off-chain signing thing, because it proves that you have access, and then it's, just you can get added from there. So,
is it divisible, or can you do like a part of one, or just one DCA token?
So the coin itself is divisible to 18 decimals, but in order to redeem the buddy pass, you have to burn one full one.
Gotcha. The only other question I was thinking of is what time exactly, people who want to participate, what time exactly is it launching, and how would they know so they can get started?
So,
and what the website, we had a question on the website too, but in a second.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure, because right now, so there's a testnet version of it going on right now. And so I'm just monitoring that to kind of see how, any error messages, just kind of see what's going on, make sure everything's working smoothly, people have a fine experience and they understand it. And then basically as soon as, I determine that it's good to go, I'm just going to I'll probably give like a couple hours notice. And it'll probably be after the day ticks over to the next day. So like after, say, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay. Somewhere through there. All right. And is there a website?
Probably in the evening.
Okay. Is there a website people can go to or be ready to go to by that time?
Yeah. pro.dipcatcher.com.
Pro.dipcatcher.com. Not dipcatcher.pro. It's a future project reserved for that.